Move up the ranks, dominate locally, book more moving jobs, and make more money for your moving company. This is Thomas here, and in today's video, I want to talk to you about service areas for your Google business profile. And what I mean by that is if you come here to your profile, you should have it set up. um, you're going to see an area where you can edit your profile and expand on your service area. Um, so let me see how I can show you that. So right here, it's under location. You can add up to 20 service areas, right? So do that, take advantage of that because it's going to help you with your Google profile. Um, the thing that you really want to know is that this whole thing, it doesn't directly help you boost your rankings, right? But it kind of just it shows Google you know, where you are operate and just how you show up locally, right? So it basically tells Google where you are willing to travel, right? So if I put all these areas and I have zip codes or I have the county, I have the town or whatever, it's going to show Google where I am willing to go out to do these jobs, right? So Google can then go out and it can match me with local intent searches, right? So if somebody is typing in Auburndale movers, it gives me a higher percentage, higher chance to be shown and to be seen, right? Even if my physical location, is hidden, this is going to be able to help me, right? So it's also going to expand my visibility radius, right? But within limits. So Google is going to be able to show me to other people in this whole area, right? If you imagine the map of this and all the pins and the locations, right? Google has an idea of the circle around which I'm willing to travel to, and anybody who is in those areas will be able to see me, right? Um, the only thing is that just because you do this, it doesn't mean you're just gonna start showing up for Manhattan movers, right? It's not gonna just be done for you, right? You have to do so much stuff to the page and to your profile, and for Google needs to know what you do, right? But it just kind of gives Google an area of where you are located and the radius of which you service, right? Um, so this stuff can impact your local pack and the maps and service area results, right? So just know that by doing this, it gives you that type of advantage. And it can help you even get calls from these areas. I remember when I first did this and I was getting calls from Great Neck, right? I had gotten jobs out in Great Neck and I was like, wait, I don't really even have a page on my profile showing that I'm a mover in Great Neck, but why are people in Great Neck finding me? And I was really confused and I was like, wait, how am I showing up? Because I don't think I'm even close to being one of the first movers who show up in Great Neck, but somehow I got a call from two clients in Great Neck, and those ended up being turned into jobs, right? So that was really really helpful for me. Um, so this is going to help you just reach more zip codes. Um, but this really doesn't help with like keywords. So just because you have Manhattan in here doesn't mean you'll rank for stuff like Manhattan movers, right? So just know that when you do this, but do take advantage. Pick 20 zip codes or 20 areas and make a little map for yourself and just you know pick that and start there. Um, it also doesn't replace your local SEO pages, right? So if you have pages like movers in whatever area, movers in New Jersey, you need to make a page for that, right? Movers in Parsippany, movers in Dover, right? Like you need to make pages for all the areas that you go out to. Just because you have it here, it doesn't mean you know, you're not going to show up, right? So all you really need to do is add 10 to 20, right? Um, take advantage, just add 20, right? And then eventually you're going to need to match them with service area pages. So I want to create a page for all of these areas, showing that I'm a mover in that area. So what it would look like is, your moving company name backslash Forest Hill movers, backslash Dover movers, right? Like, and you want to make pages for all the areas that you go out and service. So just keep that in mind. Um, yeah, that's all you need to know about this. Add 20 of them and just go from there, right? It's going to help Google understand your coverage better and where you go out to, right? It'll get you a little bit more visibility in the map pack and the map results for people in these areas are going to be, you're given an opportunity to be shown by doing this, right? It's going to expand your ranking radius where you're just, where you're willing to go out. Um, and yeah, it doesn't take too much time. Just add 20 of them and go from there. And yeah, if you have any questions, let me know. If you need help figuring out which 20 areas you want to go to, let me know. I'm also curious as to, you know, I'm I want to I'm thinking about it for myself, which is, do I want to expand the area, right? And say I'm covering a greater area, or is it better to just be um kind of like, like just create a smaller radius, right? That's something that I'm thinking about. Which one is more advantageous? Do you draw a bigger circle and you have Google say, all right, this guy is willing to go 60 miles, right? A radius of 60 miles, right? Does that help you, right? I don't know. That's something that I'm gonna explore, right? Or do you say, all right, I want to draw like a 20-mile radius and I want to show Google like I'm at all the points in that 20-mile radius, right? So anyways, if you have any questions, let me know. Hope this video was helpful.